Chipotle shares reversing course today despite a beat on earnings, revenue, and same-store sales in its second quarter. Revenue jumping over 18%, same-store sales rising 11% from a year ago. Menu prices being 3% higher. Jack Hartung, he's Chipotle's CFO, joining us now alongside Yahoo Finance's executive editor, Brian Sozzi. Jack, it's great to see you again. So let's talk about the movement that we're seeing in the stock, and I think more specifically maybe the reason why, because we did see the street get excited initially about the report, and then we saw a bit of a reversal here on that expected margin pressure. I guess, can you give us a better idea what that looks like and the cause here that we could potentially see that is weighing on margins?
Yeah, listen, first of all, we had a fantastic quarter. Our teams are doing a great job. We had a huge transaction, 8.7% in the first quarter, a comp of 11%. So really, really standout earnings. During the quarter, though, we did see sales step down, and that's consistent with what we've seen in kind of industry reports. We also talked about the fact that we've got a few things that are going to put some temporary pressure on our margins. A couple items are inflating from a cost standpoint. That's dairy and avocados. We think that is going to be, hit us for the next couple of quarters and then level off. There's also, we're moving from a chicken LTO, which chicken is our highest margin item. We're moving into brisket, which brisket's been a fan favorite. Our customers been asking for brisket for a number of years since we had it as an LTO a few years ago. We're bringing that back. That is a very expensive item. And so from a margin standpoint, you move from a high margin to a low margin. It's still very, very profitable. Then last piece is we're going to proactively invest in making sure that every customer, every time, is getting abundant portions. We've seen the social media chatter. We were at one point thinking, okay, this is just going to run its course, but it just keeps coming back. So we're going to make sure every customer, when they come to Chipotle, they get abundant portions. And that's something that we think we can offset with efficiency. So all these margin pressures are going to be more transitory, temporary, for the next couple of quarters.
Jack, you smoking that brisket in your backyard? I mean, that's a pretty hot new menu item there, sir.
I tell you what, we just tested it this week again in the test kitchen, and I'm happy to test it again if they need another opinion. It's fantastic, Brian. I kind of forgot how good it was the first time, so it's going to be, frankly, a big hit. We're very excited about it.
Let's drill into what you just mentioned about the portion sizes. This has really blown up on TikTok, and it just reinforces, I guess, the power of social media and how it can be used for wrong things. So when you said you're investing in abundant portions, how is that going to change my Chipotle experience? I can go in there and just say, just keep heaping spoons of stuff into a bowl. I mean, how does that change?
Well, so there's a couple different elements of it. The most important thing, we took this opportunity to look at how are we doing? And we're now focusing on kind of the bottom 10 or 15% of our restaurants. What I mean by that is we're looking for restaurants that have a disproportionate amount of customer comments on portion sizes. We're going back and retraining. We're spending more time with these restaurants. We have 3,500 restaurants. We think 90% of the time or more, the portions are abundant, but let's make sure that 90 turns into 100% of the time so that no customer leaves Chipotle disappointed because of portion size. It's one of our brand equities. The thing we don't want to do is take something that our customers love the idea that there's a lot of high quality food in their meal and then have it turn into a negative just because there's this social media, thing that we thought it would die down for a couple of weeks and it just keeps, coming back. We want to turn, that chatter into an asset where people are saying, "Oh my God, I went to Chipotle and I can't believe how big the portions are." That's our goal.
It's wild, Jack. When you started at Chipotle, I mean, there was no TikTok. I mean, so you don't have to deal with these challenges. You just worry about the financial statements and keep it moving. But one thing did catch my attention too, and it was California. Because really, that's the first time I heard, I think in a while maybe from Chipotle, that there was price resistance. Of course, wages went up in the States, so you took up your prices. For those, I guess, investors trapped in the Northeast bubble, how much is a burrito now in California? And now are you going to lower prices to get those customers back in the door?
Well, a burrito in California is still cheaper than it is in the Northeast. Now, it used to be about the same price as it would be in the middle of the country, which would be well below average. And now it's just a notch below. It's still less expensive than in cities like New York and Boston, but we did have to increase prices by 7%, between 6.5% and 7%, when we raised wages almost 20%. And what we've seen, Brian, it's not so much resistance. So it's not because the Chipotle burrito costs a little more. There's really a reduced spending across the restaurant industry. And when we've looked at it, restaurant companies that took a very high increase had a impact on sales about the same as what we've seen. Restaurants that have taken no increase had the same kind of reduction in sales. So it's really more of because everything's more expensive, the customer has pulled back in dining out, pretty much across the board.
Jack, when you talk about the fact that that's worrisome, even to companies like yours, that you're able to offset some of those headwinds just a bit. But I'm curious, when you try to figure out maybe how long some of these headwinds are going to stay with us, you're planning for the future, trying to navigate that. What are some of the strategies that you're implementing to better position Chipotle against some of those rivals?
Yeah, so our best offense is to have great operations. And that means hiring great people, training them so they know how to cook delicious food, serve delicious food, deliver great throughput. Our customers love the idea that they can come into Chipotle, and even if there is a line in Chipotle, they can customize their meal with our crew along the line and still get out of there very, very quickly. So it's high quality food, it's big portions, it's a fast experience, and it's the food that they crave. If we do that well, we feel like no matter what the environment, even if there is some economic challenges, no matter what the competition, that we will do well. And we've seen that really time and time again over the years.
Jack, you're about to wind down a decorated career at Chipotle. What's the biggest leadership lesson that you learned over your long time at Chipotle? So that's first. And then secondarily, are you done in public company life? Is this it for you?
Well, okay. So the first one, there's lots of advice. I would say the most important thing is to, build a culture and build teams that match the culture. And what that means to me is hire people that are humble, but they're really confident at the same time. And now I know that sounds like those are two contradictory, but if you hire people that are very skilled, they're confident, and they're skilled, but they're also humble, you could build a team around folks like that. And when a team like that buys into a purpose, like Chipotle is a purpose-driven company, you can accomplish great things. People will put the purpose, ahead of their own ambitions, which, by the way, when people come in and they're talented and they work hard and they work as a good teammate, their career will flourish as well. So to me, that's a way to build a great culture and build great teams. For me, Brian, I'm gonna, think about what I do next. I do want to help other companies. I don't know if that will be through advisory. I don't know if that will be through board activity. I'm not sure if I want to take on another, public company CFO role. I mean, I love this role. I can't imagine there's a better role in the country. But listen, I hope there's going to be a lot of, demand for to hear from some of my experiences. And I love helping people that are trying to run a business, especially small businesses that have big ambitions.
Hey, memo to the tens of millions of investors and fellow executives watching Yahoo Finance. Give Jack a call. He's got some time on his hands. Get him on your board. He knows what he's doing.
I love it.